bike doesn't have a name, but we jokingly call it EDM. Obviously not electronic dance music, but electric death machine. My name is Matthew Walsh, and I was born in Flint, Michigan, and moved to Florida when I was 18, and lived there for about 12 years, and now I live in Los Angeles. So I created this electric motorcycle and based it on a 95 Suzuki GS500e. I was going through a lot of rough things in my life. My mother had just passed away. My wife and I had discussed getting motorcycles. We just thought it would be, you know, fun to enjoy life while we're still here. My wife has rheumatoid arthritis. She has very little hand strength at all, and it's even painful for her to squeeze onto something. So when we had talked about getting motorcycles, my wife brought up the point that she may not be able to shift. So we started looking into the electric motorcycle avenue because we thought that there would at least be less gears, and then it turns out that, in fact, there's no gears. On a single charge, I can get about 60 miles, maybe a little bit more. If I'm babying it, maybe 70 miles. For charging on this motorcycle, mine takes about 7 hours. They are 75 amp hour batteries, and they're basically what you would put in like a heavy duty truck or winter vehicles. For the bike itself, I mostly just read online how other people did it. After I got the bike together, I quickly realized that how everybody else was doing it was wrong. I didn't take any schooling at all. I've always been a person that can start something and figure it out very, very quickly. So most people are using this zero gauge wire, like basically what you would just find in a normal car or for, you know, wiring up an amplifier. And it actually tops out at somewhere around 150, 200 amps. So the wire gets very hot and it gets very restrictive. And it melts to the terminals. So I got the bike together and it wouldn't go maybe over 5 miles an hour. And I thought I'd just throw my money away. After lots of research and just trying to determine what the best method would be, I thought about welding and how, you know, they draw such huge amperages. And so I said, okay, well, let's get some welding cable. An inch thick, and it supports 600 volts and 1200 amps. Threw it in there and the bike's doing 50, 60 miles an hour. With electric motors, they generate an EMP charge inside by default. So the power that is already being used regenerates the motor to some degree. So the more you maintain a constant speed, the less amperage you need to maintain that speed. So if you're, you know, going 60, 70 miles an hour and you stay that way, you'll use almost no power. But it's the acceleration. I mean, if you hit it really good, right away my bike's gonna use about 400 or 500 amps. You don't have to constantly throttle the bike either to keep it going. You can just blip it and let go. And the engine will actually keep recharging itself and keep propelling you for, you know, at least probably 50 feet. The Zero bikes, we looked into those. They were cool. They're very expensive, but I just didn't think that I'd get a lot of pride out of it. It just looks like everything else. And so I wanted to make something that looked terrible that I enjoyed. I came up with the tank design because I'm obsessed with this video game. It's called Deus Ex. One of the major design elements in the game is triangles. And I just thought it was so cool watching the triangular patterns everywhere in the game. Halfway through this game for the 5th time, I'm just like, let's do that. Looks good. So we cut out a bunch of triangles. We sat up all night doing it. The material of the tank is EVA foam, and it's basically like a gym mat, like high impact. The inside is actually hand-laid carbon fiber. The outside, of course, there's some Bondo and some fiberglass. I got a LightMode helmet because the bike, once it was finished, completely silent. No one can hear it coming. No one can see it coming. So to be outside at night and driving is just incredibly dangerous on an electric motorcycle. Really made a pretty big difference, and it makes you feel a lot safer and more secure. I don't feel like I'm gonna die as much on a day-to-day basis, so that's why. And plus, they look awesome. The more widely accepted the electric thing becomes, you're gonna see more people building electric motorcycles in their garages, building, it's gonna be like the next generation of hot rods. Kids are gonna be loading their trunks up with lithium cells and, going out and running 9-second quarter miles, smoking Bugattis that are running on dinosaur fuel.